Hello, everybody. This is Frank with Iron Age News. It's Thursday, October 9th, around 1:48 in the afternoon, and I'll be the wet blanket again because it's high time, folks. You have to realize, accept it, and move forward that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated. He is not coming back, and there are a few things that have occurred and are occurring, some of which have to be done and some of which have to stop. So let's cover this very quickly before you all have a stroke. Okay. You know that when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, it wasn't just a man who died. It was a mirror. We were all forced to look into it. Those of us that were sane, let's put it that way. At first, there were three reactions other than the disbelief. And this is movement wide dynamics, which is something we've called out in the past. One group said we have to keep the machine running. We have to go out, we have to engage, we have to talk to these savages and do what can be done. My thumbs up to Steven Crowder for being the first one to draw blood. It was a shame because the people that he interviewed, that first woman was just fucking reprehensible. You know what I'm saying? Because now they are aware of the fact that they have condoned murder, that their organization, the movement that they go to on a Saturday or Sunday night to smoke a joint and talk about how bad their parents were making them go to school and eating their vegetables, has bred not one, not two, three maybe murderers and a number of not very murdery, but tried. You are now the movement of political violence. You are the Red Army faction. You are the weather underground, and things need to change. Okay, so Crowder went out. He did his show as best he could. I thought there would have been more people, but I think the smarter ones who really wanted to come out and try to give him a bad time realized that he wasn't about being trifled with. And the other thing you should take from that is the fact that you will see very little of Charlie's banter or interaction in the future. If you noticed, Crowder mentioned it was $250,000 for him to go to that campus. So the left, in another respect, by murdering Kirk, has effectively chilled the ability for people to cross the aisle and try to meet people halfway, be it Christian, be it just moderate, things of that nature. $250,000 and 10 special forces guys is starting to get to a point where people are going to say the heck with it. So one little bullet has also almost completely sewed up the socialist side of the left, where there will be no coming back from that. So that's that point. That's out of the way. The second point was protect the mission. I do not think that you will ever find a woman in our recent history, Jackie Onassis perhaps, uh, who was surrounded by more enemies at the death of her husband uh, than Erica Kirk. I think in that 5 second period when her life changed, everyone came out with the knives. The knives are out, as they say, and they are still out, and things are happening. But they have been able to keep her in there. She did not falter. I give that credit to, if people want to see what makes a lasting marriage, there you go, right? She could have turned around and said, I'm going to turn this over to Bob Smith and he'll run it. I'm going to become the permanent, widow of this group. Nope. She is moving forward as best she can. I am sure every day she is putting out fires and challenges to the crown. And you see that even in amongst these other groups of pirates like Tucker Carlson and what is that fucking other guy's name? The weather Fuentes and some of the other ones that are trying to divide that movement up, who have no real goal except to push hate, which is fine. If you think hate's enough to get you an election, then do it, right? But that is important that she did not let the grifters or even moderates hijack what Charlie had built. Charlie's a homegrown institution. I was lucky enough to have been to a number of his events. I was lucky enough to have interviewed unofficially a number of the volunteers, the young people, the people 20 years old, 22 years old, coming from Missouri and places like that to South Florida to meet with their friends. These were their friends working these shows. The people in their neighborhood didn't understand them, but their friends did. And this is how they went about socializing and keeping themselves together without being singled out and attacked. Always remember that from Pale Rider. Never go into town alone, LaHood, right? Because he'll get you. If they could deal with that, that's fine. But the third group is the problematic one that we are dealing with now and the one we must address. They believe that maybe, and this is just maybe, this tragedy would wake people up, that the left would look in the mirror and say, oh my God, I am a monster. What am I doing? They wanted to have a less than zero moment. You're Downey, you've just got off the floor from blowing 17 guys that you didn't know for Coke. What am I doing with myself? How can I continue to do this and keep a straight face and mind, right? They thought the conscience of the opposition, I'm sorry, they thought the conscience of this opposition would snap back hard like a rubber band and bring them back into reality. And it has not done that, not even a little bit. There were the fence sitters, there were the moderates. They will still fence sit, they will still be moderate because the fear is to join the Republicans because they see what they will do to a Republican, which was the other bonus of killing Charlie Kirk. If we'll kill a super famous guy surrounded by soldiers, well, what's it really going to do to, kick the shit out of you, right? It's not going to be hard. They can get any of us. They can deplatform you, they can sue you, things like that. It's a good case of that that's going to be coming up. We're going to cover in a few days about a woke record company and woke music bookers extorting and destroying or trying to destroy some music because they wouldn't toe the line with this virtue signaling. But we'll get to that when it happens. Okay. So instead, what's happened here when people are out there, Charlie Kirk, this and that and the other thing, the influencers on the left, the real blue check sadists, as we would call them, are using the I'm glad he's dead as a virtue signal. Mockery is moral currency. Hatred is proof of purity, right? And on the other side, the conservatives are trying to emotionally convert people that are unconvertible. They're trying to say to people who are psychopathic, you need to repent. You can't enjoy the fact that this man was murdered. And they're saying, but yes, I can enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that he is no longer inconveniencing me with his truth. He's better off dead than for me to see him. And that is when you're sitting there and you're trying to love people who celebrate murder. Granted, they push that in the Bible a little too hard. It's not exactly where it's going to go, but you go to your church, I'll go to mine. That's not compassion. That is trauma being turned into ritual. This is some really bad psychology 051 on both sides. Okay, we have two psychological pathologies that are colliding here. Okay, the first one we will call a grief cult. That would be the ones on the right. The idea that our pain must redeem the world, and that if we just cry loud enough, the enemy will suddenly feel human again and throw down their weapons and embrace Pat Boone and will build a mall to Charlie and this and that and the other thing, and the world will go on spinning. And the second one that they are directly in opposition to is a cruelty cult. The idea that killing your political enemy is moral progress. Okay? They aren't just ideologies anymore. They're possessions. Each side is feeding off the other like two mirrors, reflecting madness back and forth. And the worst part about it is the algorithms love it. They amplify it. They monetize it. We are no longer fighting over ideas. We're fighting over who gets to control the emotional tone of the civilization, is what we're doing. This is voodoo psychological war. This is on the spectrum of us when we're talking about various levels of warfare. Okay. This voodoo psychological war is a spiritual battle dressed up as a meme war. It's not fought with bullets or bills or tanks, planes, but with mockery, with martyrdom, and with manufactured empathy. So here's the hard truth. You don't heal evil by hugging it. You don't redeem cruelty by flattering it. And you sure as hell don't honor the dead by begging the soulless people who okayed the killing to care about it. You can honor Charlie Kirk and anyone like him, but keep our clarity when we are doing it by refusing to be hypnotized by grief or goaded by hate, by remembering the sanity itself is the last rebellion. Take the time, look at it, break away from what is going to become a cocoon. The, oh, if only Charlie were here, or the, if only the other team would do the right thing. The other team is never going to do the right thing. There are people that will leave it. There will be a hardcore. Look at various psychological evaluations out there. This was done intentionally, this messaging. The messaging was designed to reach people who were of a certain predilection, and it has pushed them completely into the camp of that psychopathy. All right? It's not joking around shit. And it's unfortunate, you know, that it's going to continue to play out like this. Where is the empathy for the 60,000 women that were raped in the United Kingdom? Viciously raped. Nobody took anybody on a date rape and whatever. Not that there's not to make fun of it, but that versus 25 taxi drivers beating your fucking teeth down your throat while they all rape you till you have various issues the police have said where hemorrhaging, you know, all over, trying to sew them up all over. This is what comes of this. You know, you want callousness when you get out there. You want to talk about people when they're telling you about Nazism. That what the left are playing to you is the quintessential objectification that is required for mass extermination. Go to a real book and look it up. Don't listen to these assholes online. And there's so many of them anymore. Like I said, these other fellows now, there's Fuentes and the rest of them, they are there to get you killed. They are there to get a reaction out of people. I have seen in the last 2 days more video of Proud Boys fighting Antifa than I have seen in the past 2-3 years. Why is that all of a sudden coming back up? Because they want you to fight fire with fire, right? Rely on law enforcement to do its job. Rely on the federal agents to do their job. Because if the other team is messing with them, they're going to find out how bad it can get. FAFO. And because they had it easy under the Democrats, they don't realize everything they're doing is 5, 10, 15 years, 75% minimum. Right? That's the difference. Try to be civilized until there is no ability to be civilized anymore. And only then do you do what has to be done at the bequest of civilization. So that's about all I have on that. It's a shame we have to keep harping on it, but if you don't bring this up every so many weeks, and I'm watching people now making money off the death, you know, anytime you get into this, I'll try to find it. There was a very good video with this, one of the usual influencers, officer, somebody or other, a black guy. And he explained exactly what you do during a murder investigation, right? And all the conspiracy guys like, you know, they didn't do this or they didn't do that or they did this or they did that. And he's telling you exactly what I can go and verify in 10 minutes with a phone call. And any of you who have family members that are in law enforcement can do too. Hey, Dad. Hey, Uncle Bill. Hey, Tom. Hey, Sally. What do we do when we come across a crime scene? What are we doing in a murder investigation? Who's in charge of the evidence? All those kind of things. There is nothing in that side of it that leads anybody with half a fucking brain to think that there is a conspiracy going on. I'm not talking about the shooters. Everyone's going to go on about that. What went right on there? No, it is not a Mossad exploding microphone. It's none of that shit. Get over it. I know that people need to tie Jew hate to everything. I just saw it this morning about the peace process. Well, the Jews will break up on that. Absolutely. Both guys are going to break off on it. The Islamics are going to break off on it before the Israelis do because they have to by their law. If you don't understand it, I'm not going to have to keep putting it out there for you people. Get this book. See the book? It's cheap. It's that big, and you won't be duped by assholes telling you how the Arabs fight wars. If you read that book, Harold Rode explains it in complete detail. You want to read Lawrence of Arabia's book? That's good. That's a particular area, and that's the West being involved in Arab warfare. This book, once again, look it up. I make no money on it. You should be able to find it a number of places. It's not expensive. You can get an ebook version. I know they make it. Read that and then listen to these other people, and you will realize that they are just doing things to get money out of you. Like they're going to say, oh, we're going to have our secret fan site. Bullshit, right? They're doing the same thing with Kirk. It's all big, whatever. Stand back, let the investigation go. The more you people fuck around with it, the more chances the killers go free. Yeah. The more you push them to leak information or someone to leak information, or you tell things that aren't true, it's called you fuck up the jury pool. Do you want this guy to go to jail or not? Shut up. Let it go on. Plenty of other things out there. Figure out who's running for Congress in your area. Do shit like that. But I digress. So anyway, that's about it for now. And we'll talk to you later on. Have a nice weekend.